Okay, let's try it now. Can you guys hear me? Because people would tell me there was an audio problem. Can you guys hear me? Just let me know as soon as you can. As soon as I get confirmation, I will continue. Okay, some of you may need to refresh. Put that in the comments section. All right, so people can hear me. So that's good. I was into my spiel for a good 2 minutes before I realized that none of you can hear me. Gotta love YouTube sometimes. All right, thank you. All right, so I want to talk about this. Now, the first thing I want to say is I heard some messages about CGC. I was actually planning on not making a video today. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the day off. I'm going to relax. I have no jobs on my plate. I'm not going to do anything. So I've been actually watching some of the Daredevil series and everything. I'm like, you know what? Let me go on YouTube and check out some of the people that I'm subscribed to. And I'm not going to have the camera on because I just want this vocal, because I'm actually in my bathrobe because I totally did a bum out day today. I think I deserved it. So I don't think any of you want to see me in my bathrobe. So, and if you do, then I'm definitely not putting on the camera. Yeah, if you can't hear, try refreshing. Okay, so I ended up, while I took a break from watching a couple episodes of Daredevil, which I will say I am incredibly enjoying. It's actually what these TV shows should be. I decided to check out some of my subscriptions. And one of the people I'm subscribed to, and if you haven't subscribed to him, please do. His name is Reggie. He did a very interesting video. Now, I want to give my experience on things, because one of the things I love about Reggie is he's got an extremely positive attitude. I love that. I wish more people were like that. He talks about a lot of things I talk about when it comes to doing your own research and seeing the value in several companies, not just one or two specifically. Now, he's entitled to have his own personal choice. Nothing wrong with that. And I am not one of those people that does the kill the messenger kind of scenario. But when I was watching his video, he was relaying the message about what CGC is about to do. Now, I'm going to share my little bit of perspective on what I see will be the future of what some people may think is a great idea. Because those of you may or may not know, and right now there's almost 120 people watching, so I'm very happy about that. It's probably one of my largest ones since my old channel. So thank you for that, because I think this is incredibly important. Now, before I get into my spiel, I want to say I love all three companies. If you've watched my videos, I have more CGC comics than I have anything else. 9.8 bathrobe. That's probably an 8.5 because this one's a couple years old, and I do have cats, but that was a good one. I want to say that I love all three companies. I love CGC, I love CBCS, and I love PGX. Believe it or not, I'm one of the few people that is not afraid to say that, because I have not had a problem with them. Now, that doesn't mean that people haven't had a problem. Now, I've heard videos from people that have problems with all three companies, so we got to keep it fair. This is not about bias. And if you watch my videos, I say all the time, do your own research. All three companies have benefits and things that will not benefit you, depending on your scenario. So with that being said, and that out of the way, and somebody tell Vertigo to refresh, because obviously you guys are hearing my voice, so people may need to refresh because it was a YouTube problem with my audio. So here's the message I got from Reggie. Now, again, he's just relaying messages, so I have no problem with what he said. He's entitled to his opinion. Nothing bad to say. I highly recommending his channel. But when I heard the news, I, as a business person, see more than just the good of that moment. I see where does it lead to and what is the purpose of it. Because those of you who've been watching my channel for a while know that I own my own businesses. Now, am I as wealthy as Donald Trump? Absolutely not. But I basically have been able to maintain a 12 to 14-hour work week since 2002 and been able to support myself and my family and my comic book collection hobby. I don't have welfare programs. I don't believe in welfare programs. I'm one of those people that believes in you will do whatever it takes to work as long as it's legal and as long as it's right. You are responsible for your own employment and making your family survive based on your hard work. I don't believe in handouts. I just want to make that perfectly clear. But I own my own businesses since 2002. I have my own YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, I have 2 YouTube channels that I've been using off and on since 2010. I have my massage business. I have my karaoke business. I have my own business where I make and sell organic products, things like that. Okay. I also study the history of money, corporate law, contract law, like I said, the history of money dating all the way back to the Roman Empire. When I have free time, I spend it wisely. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of learning, because that's very important, because like they say, knowledge is power. So I know a lot about businesses. I know a lot about corporations. I know a lot of things about legal terminations and legal definitions that most people think is regular English language that can entrap you, because like they say in law, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And they base most people's ignorance on legal definitions and how they trick people. So be very careful about what you assume, because remember, when you assume, you make a you-know-what out of you and me. So with that being said, and like I said, 124 people watching, very happy about this. The information that I heard from Reggie, and a lot of people are going to think this is a great thing, but I'm going to warn you, and I'm going to make a prediction that many people that may be happy at this moment and may think this is a good idea, who may not be able to see, whether by choice or just not wanting to even pay attention to how businesses operate and the purpose behind what they do. CGC is about to do a program. Well, they are currently doing a program where if you hand in your PGX books, your CBCS graded books, or any other company's graded books, for a certain fee, they will reslab them in CGC slabs. Now, many people that love CGC will say that's a good thing. And in the short term, that does sound like a good idea, especially somebody who wants to have CGC when they sell comics, because make no mistake, CGC is the highest selling of all 3. I'm not going to kid about that. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not going to beat around the bush. As much as I promote with PGX, and I have that deal with them, which, by the way, and I'll say every time, I don't get paid by them one dime at all. Make no mistake, CGC is the #1 company. They have the best slab. They sell the best. PGX sells the least, but they are the cheapest. Okay, so I just want to get that right out of the way. CBCS, unfortunately, because of their move, they take way too long to get their books graded. They are extremely, when they grade, they are very strict with their grading. But like I said, there's plus and minus for everything. Now, one of the things that people have to understand about this situation, and it's going to get deeper into this, so please bear with me, and I hope you will listen to the whole thing. If you hate me and you're not going to listen to my message just because you have a problem with me, then I can't help you. I'm talking from a business perspective that will eventually hurt us all in the comic book community, and I would hope, as a community who loves comics, we want to keep that from happening. Now, one of the things about businesses is they don't plan for the moment like you and I. They don't plan for the weekend or maybe what you're doing next week. They plan years ahead. Governments plan 50 years ahead. This is not something that sounds crazy. If you actually do the research, you'll learn about these things. So major corporations, they plan years ahead. So when they do something, it's with a future in mind of a direction they wish to head, knowing that 99.9% of the people who will consume their product or use their product will never think about the down-the-road problems. They only want to think about, what are you providing me right now that will satisfy my needs, even if it's emotionally. So, on the surface, sounds like a great idea that CGC wants to take your PGX books, wants to take your Volt graded books, wants to take your CBCS graded books and convert them into CGC books. Sounds great. Until you find out what the whole method of their madness is. Because what are they doing? They are getting rid of the competition. You have to start out very slowly. Because if you do something all in one shot, people tend to notice. And I'll give you a prime example. Let's say you have a $1 billion bank account. If you woke up tomorrow and found out all $1 billion of your money was stolen from your bank, you would probably do something about that, right? Okay, let's just assume that most normal people, if they had $1 billion in their bank account and all of a sudden the next day it says zero, they're going to want to know why. They're going to investigate it. In other words, they're going to do what they can to get it back and find out what happened. Okay, that should be for any logical thinking person. But if a smart thief comes along and maybe steals $15 here, $25 here, $100 here, you may not ever notice it because you'll think, well, I shop all the time. I maybe have some bank fees that I didn't write down. You won't keep track of it, or you'll make excuses for the situation. And by the time you realize maybe $100,000 of your $1 billion is gone, it's too late to do anything about it. So companies and governments pretty much work the same. They plan their situations based on what is going to happen in the future, where, again, 99% of the people will never venture towards because they're always thinking in the now or what's going to happen this weekend. Okay? So CGC sounds like, oh, they're being the savior. They're doing the right thing. But what are they doing? They are erasing the competition. Now, they can't do it all at once because that would make it obvious. But if you're volunteering to send in your CGC books, your PGX books, your Vault books, or what have you, to which company? CGC. What does that do? Makes you think about only one company. So they've already set in motion the first little seeds that they plant, which is only think about one company. Now, what do you think's going to happen when more and more people take their already graded books, turn them into one particular company? Well, they're going to start probably using them more often, and it's going to eliminate the competition. Now, like I said, I have a deal with PGX where, again, I'll keep saying it, I do not get paid, but they are the third of the three. Now, they're not as bad as some people claim because many people base things off of false information that they have no idea about other than what they hear. Because I saw the video about that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video, and what I also saw is there were many times where the camera moved away when he was supposedly opening that book. So at any moment, that person could have doctored that video or did a bait and switch. Now, I'm not saying they did because I don't know, but when you leave doubt, you better hope, if you've ever been taken to court and accused of something, if there's reasonable doubt, that means they cannot prove, because in a court of law, remember, it is innocent until proven guilty without a reason of doubt. So, the whole PGX situation with that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there are only one of two situations that could have possibly happened because, for some strange reason, the person that made that video took it down. So there are two reasons alone why a person that supposedly showed evidence that proved a company to be corrupt would take it down. One, they lied about it and they could have gotten sued for a lot of money. Or two, they were paid off to have a settlement outside of court. Now, I don't know which one is the true answer, and we may never know. But unless you are a lawyer and you understand how the system works, just because evidence looks like something happens, if there is doubt, you cannot convict. So, with that being said, I will be one of those people. And JD, Comic Tom, let me tell you something about Comic Tom and why I do not subscribe to him. Because Comic Tom was talking about research about the PGX videos that he did, which I agree with 100%. But in the exact same video where he talked about making the information and research, he made a statement that said, I get paid by PGX, which was flat out untrue. And as a matter of fact, before they took away our ability to private message each other, I sent him a private message and told him that is not true and asked him to take that video down or at least make a video clearing my name of a false accusation. He chose to not do that. He put a little disclaimer in the description that no one reads, but he never took down the video, and that's one of the reasons why I got attacked and lost a lot of subscribers, because Comic Tom made an accusation that was false about me, and never once made a video acknowledging the fact of our private messages. Now, since YouTube deleted that, I no longer have a record of that information. But Comic Tom made a specific accusation saying that I got paid by PGX, which, by the way, Daniel Patterson even contacted him to verify that was untrue. And he didn't take down the video, and he left a disclaimer that no one reads. So I have an issue with Comic Tom with that. I don't subscribe to him. I don't talk bad about him. He's allowed to become very famous because after he did that video that bashed me, his channel shot through the roof. God bless him if that's the way he wants to get information. But make no mistake, he lied about me. And he wasn't brave enough to make a video and explain the fact that he was actually wrong. He decided to go with it because it made his channel become very popular. That's why he gets 3,000 per video now. And I'm not worried about his new videos because I don't watch his channel. Ever since then, I was subscribed to him. But when I saw that video and I sent him that private information, he sat on that information and decided to not take it down, I lost respect for that individual. So God bless him that he used that information to benefit his channel and destroying mine. If you want to live that way, that is perfectly fine, okay? So I wanted to get that out perfectly clear. So please do not quote Comic Tom here, because until he does the right thing, I have nothing else to say about that individual. So please leave it off of here. And like I've said, this is probably the first time any of you have heard about this, and this was something that happened months ago, because I don't do the drama thing that some people claim. But this is getting off track. Okay, so CGC, what they're doing. I love CGC. I have probably 70% of all of my slabbed comics, which I have multiple hundreds of, are CGC. Okay, so CGC is going to eventually put PGX out of business, which I know there'll be plenty of people that will applaud that, which means you'll be left with CGC and CBCS. Now, one of the things you may or may not know about CGC is there's a reason why CGC is the only one allowed at a lot of conventions. Even CBCS is not allowed in them. Why? Because CGC does exclusive deals with those different comic grading places. I mean, with the comic places. Exclusive. Which bans even CBCS from being allowed to go there. So, this is the problem. CGC is using their money, and since Pure Goro wants to put out information like this, and there's a reason why I have it so you can't see it, we're going to say goodbye to you, because we're not going to have spam here. If you can't talk intelligently, you're not welcome here. So there you go. So we're going to put you also in a timeout. So good luck with that. And if you're going to be here to be just bashing and not seeing the biggest thing, that's on you. So CGC, there's a reason why people like Rob Liefeld and a couple of other people refuse to do signature verification with CGC, because they are blocking out the competition. And what is eventually going to happen is, once they get rid of PGX, which I hope they don't do, they are going to go after CBCS next. And they're already doing that by making you turn in, or allowing you to turn in your CBCS books to become what? CGC brand. So they are getting you used to the fact that CGC, who comes out looking like the savior, coming out looking like the good guy, businesses don't do things out of the kindness of their heart. They do it to make money. Make no mistake, if you think the people who grade your comics, who make the movies about comics, and even the ones who write the comics, I'm talking mainstream people, if you think they love the comics like you do not know business, and you are the market they are counting on. So this makes CGC look like the hero, makes them look like the good guy. Well, that's what the evil people in the corporations want you to think, so this way you can help them to eliminate the competition. Because make no mistake, if you have a PGX or a CBCS signed book and you send it to this service with CGC, guess what you will get? You will get a green label that says writing on the book cover. Because CGC only does signature witnessing. So since they did not witness those signatures, you cannot get a yellow label. So first of all, if you have a CBCS signed book, you would be utterly crazy to take that book, have CGC crack it open, which you have to spend money for, even at a discount, for them to give you a green label that says writing on the cover. How is that helping you? And the biggest thing I have a problem with, there are so many people that say they love comics. Well, then why does it matter what company grades your comic if you love comics? What does the grading company have to do with your love for the comic? People need to be careful, because as soon as CGC gets rid of PGX, they will get rid of CBCS, and they are already doing it. You ask some of these high-paid artists, like Rob Liefeld, and somebody else, I think John Byron, or Byrne, I'm not sure it's pronounced. They refuse to work with CGC. How about people ask them why? It's because CGC blocks the other companies from even being able to be at these Comic-Cons. They pay to make sure they're not allowed in. Is that competition? Does that sound like the good guy? Or does that sound like the politician that will kiss the babies when they have the camera in front of them and end up creating all of these laws that hurt you? So the problem is there are people who just do not see past their weekend or past what they're doing next month. And this is by far no bashing on Reggie at all. I want to make that perfectly clear. I have much respect for Reggie. And like I said, he's just the messenger. And he said things that I thoroughly agree with. He says, do your own research. All three companies are there for you to research, and you should get the benefits and learn the benefits of each one. So I commend him on that. So this has nothing to do with Reggie as a person or Reggie as a channel. So I want to make that perfectly clear. I respect him, and I will continue to respect him. The only thing I said is, if you've never used PGX before, then how can you give them a fair assessment? See, I've used all three companies. I've used CGC, CBCS, and PGX. I've used CGC the most. I've used PGX the second because of the fact of all the deals. And I've used CGC only twice because they take way too long. And many people will agree with that. Okay? But all three should be around because it creates competition. Competition keeps prices down. So if you love CGC, and you have every right to do that, you want the competition because that keeps the costs low, the quality high, and the speeds as quick as possible. As soon as you get rid of the competition, CGC will no longer show this nice guy attitude and this nice lovely thing that they're doing to steal the competition's business and look like the savior. They will raise their prices. You think their customer service is bad now? Wait until there's no competition to go anywhere else. I have been in business and I've researched businesses since the 90s. I used to work for TWA when I was in my 20s in the 90s, how they convinced the unions to not strike by giving them a raise. And all of the older people, because I was in that union, okay, and there were people there with lots of, they were there for a long time. So seniority played a lot of part of this, and the unions sold out those people by promising them more money and extra vacation if they signed a waiver to no longer be able to strike. And you know what? As soon as they signed it, they got their raise, they got their extra vacation. You know what else they got? Unemployment. Because now that they had no ability to strike, that wonderful company that was giving you all this free vacation added, all of this money that you asked for, shut down the business, locked the doors, and they lost their jobs. We lost our jobs. They weren't so nice after that. Corporations do not care about your Amazing Fantasy 15. They do not care about your Todd McFarlane signed Spawn issue number 1. They care about your money, and they will do and say whatever it takes to sucker you in to give them your money and not their competition. So I can understand why people will say that CGC is doing a great job. And again, I will reiterate it. CGC is the number one grading company. They sell the best, they have the best cases, but make no mistake, they are a business that is like any other business. Eliminate the competition. Do you want another Walmart where there's no longer any mom and pop stores? You like your local comic book stores? Well, you don't want the corporations to push them out. And that's exactly what they're doing. And who's helping them do this? Guess what? Marvel and DC are both helping get rid of the competition. Because then Marvel and DC can sell comics directly to you and skip the middleman. But people don't want to see that. They want to bash people like me because they don't like me. How about this? Don't kill the messenger. Listen to the message. And there are going to be people that obviously hate me for whatever reason, and I could give a damn about it because no matter what I do, they're going to hate me anyway. I did a video last month about helping a dog from another subscriber, which, by the way, ended up dying because 7 or 8 people thumbed down that video, and when you thumb down a video, it makes it harder to see in a search engine. So out of the kindness of my heart, to help an animal that I knew nothing about from a subscriber I've never met in my life, who never even asked me to do it, I made a video that told people to please donate to save this dying dog. And 7 people thumbed it down, put it further on the list. It got 300 views, and I got a message from that person telling me, unfortunately, that dog died. So those are some of the people that people will listen to. So if you want to be an echo chamber, this is the wrong place to be. And my rants are all about passion because I see the bigger story. Mark my words, if people take all of their PGX books and take all their CBCS books and bring them to CGC, mark my words, within 5 years, CGC will be the only grading company left standing. Because if you think a new grading company is going to come along with the kingpin of the comic grading companies, you think they're going to allow them to take their business after they just destroyed the other 2 competitions? You are sadly going to be disappointed within the next few years. And you think grading companies take long now? You think the prices are expensive now? Wait until that happens. Do I want this to happen? Absolutely not. Do I want to sit here and say PGX is the greatest thing since sliced bread? No, they are not. And this is coming from a person that I work and deal with. And that's why when I talked to the owner, Daniel Patterson, I told him flat out before we made this agreement that just because we're making this agreement does not mean I am going to kiss your rear end. It doesn't mean I'm not going to call you out. That's why when I got that Werewolf 32 that I thought was a 3.0 and was graded a 6.5, I made a video the next day cracking it open because integrity means more than profitability. And some people, and I'm not saying Reggie, trust me on this, there are some people out there that care about views more than they care about honesty, integrity, and non-biased. And there are people in this community that just want an echo chamber. They want to have what somebody else says be a 100% agreement with them so they can feel better about their choices instead of realizing that if you do your own research and you actually pay attention to the motives behind why a business does something, you will see the evil behind the smile. Because let me tell you something, whether you believe in religion or not, the most betrayed person in the history of any Bible would be the devil. And you know what? He comes at you, or she comes at you, whatever you want to believe in, with a smile on their face, promising you the world. So I want people to stop being so emotionally biased and stop bashing a company. You know, if they do wrong, bash them, but don't base it on information that 90% of the people have no clue about and are just regurgitating what somebody else said. I researched it. That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video, I saw it. There were so many times when he was quote-unquote cracking that comic out that the camera panned away, and at any moment they could have changed the comic. And that video, that person voluntarily removed. So he either got paid off or he could have been sued for lying. I don't know which one, but those are the only 2 possibilities. But you know what? I can at least make my choice about it based on the fact that I actually watched that video. I didn't just regurgitate what somebody else said. And so many people, not just in the comic book community, but all over YouTube, all over Facebook, all over Twitter, all over the world, people regurgitate what they hear instead of spending the time to see not only the picture as it's being presented, but the meaning behind the picture and where that picture is headed. I don't want to see these 3 going out of business. And yes, you says the legendary Teenage Mutant Ninja video was... Are you guys still there? Can you hear me? All of a sudden it got shut off. Check. Test. 1, 2. Alright, that was quite interesting. all of a sudden YouTube shut down my live feed. Which I find that very funny, because it's only when you're on point that YouTube likes to kind of just take things away from you and shut you and silence you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am here because I love comics. There's a reason why I have coverless comics. There's a reason why I have 0.5 graded comics. There's a reason why if I think a book is a 4.0 and it gets a 3.0, I'm not upset, because I love comics and I don't care what company grades them. Like I said, I called CGC and CBCS to make the same deal I tried to make with PGX. They never even returned my messages. Not only did PGX return my message, but the owner of the company personally called me and we had a conversation. I'm the one that influenced PGX to actually take my advice and put the grader's notes on the back of their slab. They're actually listening. You want to get rid of a company that is actually trying to listen to its customers? And here's the thing, and this is the one thing I will say about Reggie, and like I said, love him to death. I know he's watching this right now. I have mad respect for him. I would hope one day he will take at least one comic, send it to PGX, so he can actually have a fair evaluation, not based on what he's heard, or what he's guessed or assumed, but based on his own experience. That is the best way to really have critiquing, not a bunch of people. And I'm saying this about a lot of people on YouTube all over the place, where they get information not based on their own research, not based on their own experience, but they regurgitate what somebody else said, and it creates an echo chamber. So, like me or hate me, I know a lot about business. I know about contract law. I know about the fact of, if you even look at the government and our Constitution, which, by the way, started out as a republic and not a democracy, one of the first words it talks about is the consent of the governed. Most people have no idea what that means, because they assume that the consent of the governed means you agree. That is partially right, because when you consent, you can either agree or you could not dispute what is being accused. How many of you know about trust law? I know lots about it. I know a lot about business. I just don't brag about it, and I don't talk about it a lot, because I like to sit back and see people for who they really are. Because it's very easy to find people out whether they're true or not. And that's why I can say, without ever meeting Reggie, he's a good, straightforward shooter. He's a good guy. That's one of the reasons why not only do I subscribe to his channel, but every time he's on a live show that I can see it, I will actually comment and support his channel, because he's a straight shooter. And if you have not gone to his channel, I highly recommend it. He's one of the few people that I would private message and tell him how to make his channel even better, because I saw the good in him and I still do. But there are some people in this community that have such an echo chamber around them and such a bias that they are going to destroy the very thing that they claim to love. His name is Reggie. I don't have the link right now, but Reggie, if you're still listening, I want you to put your link to your channel here. You have my permission to put it in the live chat, and I want everybody to subscribe to him. He's a straight shooter. And I thoroughly respect the man. Now, keep in mind, just because you respect somebody doesn't mean they're always 100% right. And if he ever did anything that's really bad, I would at least confront him on it. And that's why even in his video that he was doing, I made a fair statement, which he agreed with. Not an argument, not a disrespect, just an observation that says, well, you know, if you haven't ever used PGX, then how can you give them a fair assessment? And that's a true statement. It's not a hater statement. Why can't other people do that? I don't understand it. And you says the world is becoming an echo chamber. You're god darn right about that. And that's a shame, because that hurts us all. People just need to look at divide and conquer. And I'll show you something that I guarantee as soon as I say it, you're going to think it's the most ridiculous, crazy thing until you look it up. How many of you actually know that the United States of America is actually a corporation? Now, I guarantee you, as soon as you hear that, you're going to laugh. You're going to think that's crazy. You're going to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. You're a crazy tinfoil Tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Now I want you to check this, which is directly off the U.S. government website. You ready for this? Get a pen and paper or record this if you have to. I want you to Google, well, don't even use Google because they're a corporate shill. Use Bing, Ask Jeeves, use one of the other search engines. Don't use Google. But I want you to type in the following in your search engine. Okay, you ready? U.S. Code, Title 28, 3002. Then go to Section 15, subsection A, B, and C, and you will see directly on the government website where it clearly states that the United States is a corporation. So I'm not turning into a whole political thing, but I guarantee you 99% of the world didn't know that, and 90% of the people won't even look that up. Title 28, 3002. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I got that right. Give me a second. Okay, because I'm basing this on memory. Okay, I did get it right. Yes, it's Title 8, 3002. Then go to Section 15 and look at subset A, B, and C. And you will see right there on the actual government website, if you find the right one, that actually states the United States of America is a corporation. But how do you get people away from that information? Number one, you don't teach it. Number two, you don't talk about it. Number three, you get the world to fight against themselves. It's called divide and conquer. It keeps people away from information. I have been talking about that on my other channel since 2011. I was talking about fake news before Donald Trump even was thinking about running. And I was attacked, I was insulted, I was given death threats. But my point is, 90% of the world just regurgitates what they hear instead of actually researching things. And Rob is making a funny comment, saying Title 29, Section A, subset talks about PGX. Very funny, Rob L. Congratulations, you're the next Bill Maher. But this is what I talk about. Most people don't want to take things seriously. That's why what CGC is doing is going to backfire on those of you who love comics, because you are going to think this is a great thing. You're going to take all of your competition's product, hand it to the competition. You're going to change it into their business logo. You're going to have them on their mind. PGX will go under. Then the CBCS will go under. And then CGC will be a monopoly. See how that works for you. So you can make jokes all you want. That's one of the reasons when people say, oh, how come truthful information never gets out? It does. Unfortunately, 99% of the world doesn't give a crap about it. So, Rob L., congratulations on your joke. You got your 15 seconds of fame. I guarantee you didn't look up what I told you to. But that's the problem. Most people would rather make a joke, because the beautiful thing is, on the internet, you could be some anonymous person that could pretend to be anything they want, as long as you get that nice little funny jab in to make yourself feel better. Again, an echo chamber. And that's why some people hate me, because I don't have time to be an echo chamber for anybody. I don't say what you want to hear. I am here to give all perspectives. That's why I'm not a leftist. That's why I'm not on the right. Because if you choose one side or the other, guess what? You're missing half of the equation. Why would you want to live a one-dimensional life in a three-dimensional world? Technically four-dimension, but that's a story for another time. My point is, CGC is making themselves look like the good guys here. People are going to fall for it, and then within 5 years, they will be a monopoly. Might take them an extra year or two. I don't have it down to a science. But make no mistake, they are not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. Because if they were, they would do it for free. They're not doing that, are they? Because it's a business, and a business is there to make money. And if you cannot see that, then how could you chastise those who are trying to warn you about what they see? Do I need to be an expert on this? No. I just got to pay attention. Because like they say, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And Richard McDowell says, how do you feel about Diamond being a monopoly? I am in disagreement with any kind of monopoly. I mean, like Reggie was saying, look at he was talking about his electric bill. That's what happens when you have a monopoly. When you have competition, they fight for your business, which means they give you better products, which means they give you cheaper products, which means they give you better customer service, because if they don't, the competition will. So what does a company want to do? Get rid of its competition. How many of you have heard of or seen your grandparents owning a business? How many of them own businesses anymore? You know why? Because monopolies like Walmart came along and put them out of business. Because when you had all of these laws that went for the overseas business to get no taxes, how do you compete as a U.S. citizen to own a business when you have to pay sales tax? People don't understand how these trade deals work. But they say things like free trade. Oh, sounds good. Free trade for China. China sends in all of these things into Walmart, tax-free. How do you compete with that? You wonder why there's no mom and pop stores anymore? You want to know why your local comic book stores are going under and will go under? Because Marvel and DC, who have tricked everybody to think that they're in this for the love of comics, doesn't like the fact that they have to give part of their money away to some local store they have nothing to do with. You ever wonder why Marvel is going to get rid of going with their deal with Netflix and make their own channel that you have to pay for? Because they can make more money. So I'm saying things that people don't want to hear. But you'll notice it when this happens. I've already predicted about the comic book crash coming, and it's on its way. I already see stores closing. I see more and more people going away from the new books. You can hide it all you want. You could cover your eyes, cover your ears, and say, I'm not going to hear it, I don't want to see it. Not stopping it from happening. If your house is on fire, which I, God forbid, hope never happens, sit in the middle of that room with your eyes and ears covered saying, I don't want to hear the flames crackling. I don't want to see the flames burning my house up. I don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to smell the smoke and tell me that's going to make it go away. Remember what grading card companies did to the baseball cards when they were doing it. Wasn't there a major company that used to be the number one grader of baseball cards? But they started doing shady deals. They started getting rid of all the other grading companies. And guess what? Those cards are not even worth a tenth of what they once were. When you do not research history, you're doomed to repeat it. So I started out with about 130 to 140 people watching. It's down to 109 because about 30 people or so don't want to hear what's coming down the road. They don't want their party to be ruined. They don't want their echo chamber to say anything other than what makes them feel good. They're going to continue to do what makes them happy for the short term, not caring about what it does to the quote-unquote community, but then attack people like me who are trying to save it. Because whether you go with PGX, CGC, CBCS doesn't affect me at all. Whether you make profit off of selling a book or you buy it because you love to read it doesn't affect me at all. And I'll get more hate from doing something like this than I will the love from certain people. So what do I have to gain by trying to give this information out? You know why I do it? Because it's right. And I damn well don't do it for views. Unlike some channels who will make false accusations about other people and then not be respectful enough to make a video to actually keep them from being bashed. Because I got bashed big time from that particular channel that I talked about earlier based on their untruthful statement, which came right after they said you should do your own research. Well, they should practice what they preach. So, here is my warning to the people who think what CGC is doing is a good thing. And it may seem like that in the beginning. Because remember, with Hansel and Gretel, that witch was leaving lots of candy for Hansel and Gretel to eat, which led them all the way to her stove. Be very careful of the road paved in gold. You ever hear about that? That's what CGC is doing. They're making themselves look like the good guy, doing you the favor. And they're suckering you in to get your business, so to put the competition out. There goes your monopoly. There goes your freedom of choice. There goes your customer service. There goes your speedy delivery, which, by the way, so many people that use CGC claim all the time how they get their books back, but then forget to tell you that they paid the extra fee to have it come back faster. Is that being honest? You know how much I pay extra to get my books back within about a month to a month and a half from PGX? $0. But I see so many people talking about, oh yes, CGC, I got it back in 2 months. Oh, did you mention the fact that you spent the extra fee to get that? They send, lying is not just telling a lie, it's omitting the truth. Lucky Straight says Comic Tom is the comic book cast of this community. Okay. I don't agree with that statement, but if you want to agree with that statement, that's perfectly fine. He got successful after bashing my channel with information that was false. I don't have a problem with the person, but somebody brought it up. I guarantee this is the first time you've ever even heard me mention his name. Because personally, I never met the person. I don't know what his true intent was. All I know is the facts, and I base them on facts, not feelings. Too many people in this world base things on feelings. And feelings has nothing to do with facts, whether you want to believe that or not. So, I've said enough in this video. I'm making my prediction and my warning. If people use this CGC service and they change all of their PGX and CBCS books and give them the CGC, you are helping them get rid of their competition, and one day, CGC will be the only one left standing, and you are going to regret that day. And again, I'm not telling people to not use CGC, but don't use them for that reason. I love CGC. What they're doing is a business decision to get rid of their competition and make themselves look like the good guys. I know how businesses work, especially corrupt ones. I spent lots of time researching it. Please do the same. If you don't like me, that's fine. But research what I talked about. I want to know how many of you actually looked up Title 28, 3002, Section 15, A, B, and C to actually see the very thing that you thought I was crazy about saying is actually true. That's how they control most people. They make sure something sounds so crazy that no one will even bother to look it up. But it's there, hidden in plain sight. And Jay Haley couldn't have said it any better. CGC wants to be the diamond of grading. You're absolutely right, and they will be. Because people think that what CGC is doing is a great thing. It might be great for them, but it's definitely not going to be great for the community, and it's definitely not going to be great for the long haul. So be very careful what you wish for. You might get it. So I want to thank Reggie for his video. Because like I said, no problem with him whatsoever. He's just the messenger. I'm not going to kill the messenger. He has the right to agree or believe in whatever he wants. I have 100% respect for anybody of having their choices. He's not the problem. It's some of the other people in the quote-unquote community that do what they do for selfish reasons, for their own gain. I've seen people, when I talk about the crash, I've seen people leave comments saying, oh, I can't wait for the crash to happen so I can buy my books for a cheap price. That's not somebody that's in it for the community. That's somebody that's in it for themselves. And Lucky Straight says, comic book cast is terrible. Chris, that's what I meant. Okay, well, just say straight out. I mean, you're allowed to your opinion. Whether you like them or hate them, that's up to you. I will never tell anybody. Like, my personal beef with Comic Tom is between him and I. I haven't said anything since he made that video. What I did was I just unsubscribed and never watched another video of his again. The only reason I even brought it up is because somebody asked about it with Comic Tom. I have a personal problem with him because, and I'll say it, he wasn't man enough to make a video to say that what he said about me was actually wrong. Putting a disclaimer 2 to 3 weeks later in a description of a video that no one's watching anymore is not doing the right thing. And he got very popular because of that, and I lost a lot of subscribers and a lot of views because of that statement that many people believed. To this day, people still believe I get paid by PGX. You know what? Call Daniel Patterson. Go to PGX's website, go to their phone number, ask specifically for Daniel Patterson, ask him about the deal that he's made with Chris from We Love Comics, and ask him, do I make a dime? And he will tell you flat out, no. So who do you want to believe? The person who's in the deal, the owner of the company, or somebody that had nothing to do with it, basing it on their own opinion and feelings? The sad part is, most of the people agreed with the person that had nothing to do with it and based it on their opinion and feelings, instead of the individuals that actually took partake in the situation. That's what most people do. And that's why governments, corporations, media, etc., use most of the people to take advantage of them because they can say whatever they want as long as they say to your face something you want to hear, while they do the exact opposite behind your back. Be very careful. And I base things on things you can verify. If you want to believe rumors and accusations based on what is called hearsay, let me give you this. I hope you never end up in court and somebody uses that against you, because I guarantee you, if you have been convicted of a crime that you were wrongfully accused of, I am sure you would not want to be condemned based on somebody's feelings, emotions, and opinions. You would probably want them to prove that you did what they claimed. And yet, there have been many people that have made accusations about me that people believe based on not facts, not proof, not information, but their own opinion. That's a very dangerous road to travel. So like I said, when I talked about the United States of America is actually a corporation, I guarantee you, and justifiably so, if you heard that, you probably rolled your eyes and thought that was crazy. But then I gave you the actual United States code that you could look up on their own website that proves it. And I guarantee you most people didn't do it. But one took the time to make fun of it. Congratulations on that. That's what most people do. So this CGC thing, mark my words, within the next 5 or so years, if they continue to do this and people use that service and transfer all of their other graded companies into their company's product, PGX will be the first to go. Now you'll be stuck with either CGC or CBCS. Then CGC is going to continue to block CBCS from being able to go into Comic-Cons. And if you don't have to believe me. Call CBCS yourself. They will tell you that CGC has in fact done this. They are doing it because they want to get rid of the competition. And Jason wants to know the code. I'll tell you one more time. It's U.S. code Title 28 3002. Those are two separate numbers. It's Title 28 3002. Then when you see that page, you're going to go down to Section 15 and read Section A, B, and C, where actually on the government website from the us.gov, that's the website you want to go to when you type that in the search engine, you will see that it proves what I say. I don't say things I cannot prove or back up. Many people do not do that. Base it on opinions, facts, and guesses. That's the way you want to live. Be very careful. And that's why I said when it comes to the CGC thing, which, by the way, like I said, love CGC. I will continue to use CGC. I've used them before. I will use them again. But I will definitely not be handing in my CBCS books or my PGX books to use that service. Because I'm not about to help a corporation get rid of its competition while paying them to do it. Some of you will see this as anger. Some of you will see it as a rant. Me is seeing it as a passion for what I see down the road. Because I promise you something. Any of you that have children, if you've ever taught your children not to run in the road, you do it because you love them. You want to protect them, right? What do you think you would do if you saw your little daughter or your little son who runs out in the middle of the road and almost gets run over? Do you think you're going to pat him on the back and say, oh, that's okay? Or do you think you're going to be so mad you're going to yell at them, but you're doing it because you were worried and because you love them? Just imagine, I hope it never happens. If you're a parent and you see your little baby crawling out in the middle of the road, a 4-year-old little kid who didn't listen to you and didn't listen to you saying don't go in the road, all of a sudden is playing in the middle of the road, you see a car coming, you run out to save their life. You think you're going to sit there and just say, let's discuss it? Or do you think you might be mad? You're not mad because you hate them. You're mad because you love them. That's why I talk the way I do. That's why I love comics. Not just for me, for everybody. Because a lot of information I give out actually hurts me and helps you. I have videos where I teach you my secrets on how to win on eBay. You think that helps me or gives me more competition? I do it because it's right, and yet I still get bashed, I still get ignored, and others get a free pass when they make accusations that are based on nothing more than opinion. So, let's do today's surprise subscriber shout out. And it definitely will not be the one that I had to block, and it'll definitely not be the one that made the comment on something. It was just inappropriate. So I'm going to do Tracy is best, because you're one of my regulars here. And I thank you. And like I said, I thank Reggie. He's made a couple of videos that inspired me to do videos. And if this helps people, then it happened for a reason. I don't hate the messenger. I don't agree with his assessment of what CGC is doing, but I can understand why he likes it. But I'm trying to show other people the bigger picture of what is going to come down the road. CGC is not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it to help you pay for them to get rid of their competition and make them look like the good guy. What a genius plan that CGC is doing. And if I'm the only one that calls him out, you can call me a CGC hater, which would be 100% wrong, because I'll show you my collection. One of these days, I'm going to make a video of every single one of my graded comics. I have at least 300, and I can guarantee you 200 of those 300 are CGCs, many of which I've sent to them personally. Big Lion Cat says CGC is number one. What their problems? They're making money, of course, and they're allowed to make money. But you want to make money the right way. You don't want to get rid of your competition. What good is watching a baseball game if only one player is playing or one team is playing? You want to play another good team. Why? Because if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. PGX and CBCS are what's keeping CGC in check and what CGC is keeping them in check for. You get rid of the competition, that gets thrown out the window. Think long term. Think bigger picture. Think corporate way, not your passionate way. They take advantage of you with your emotions because you love comics. We love comics. That's why I named the channel not I Love Comics, not you love comics, but we love comics, because I have a passion for it. That's why I don't care if my comic comes back a 9.8 or a 0.5. I don't care if it's coverless. I buy them because I love them. Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? And do you think I want to see the very thing that I love be destroyed? Because yes, if there's a comic crash, guess what? All those great deals I'm getting on comics, I can get a lot cheaper then. But I don't want that. And many others shouldn't want that either. And it's a shame that some people will use their echo chambers and just regurgitate things based on what they hear and what they believe instead of what they know based on their own research. Shame on those people. And shame on the ones that would actually talk about their credibility by lying, whether purposely or accidentally. Because like I said about that other person, I don't know if they knew what they were saying at the time. That's why I gave them a private message and told them the situation. But once, after about 2 weeks later, he finally decided to read it and did not make a video to amend his mistake, that threw all the credibility out the window. And I won't tell you to unsubscribe or not subscribe to that person. Please, do whatever you want. But I base it on the facts. And I'll go on a live show with that person and not change a word. Because to me, truth is truth. Whether somebody tries to hide it or not. It's like they say, by their deeds you shall know them. So you can judge me based on how passionate I talk, or how crazy I might sound, or how much I really overdo making a point across, or you could base it on the things that I do on my channel. Look at my videos. They are all about helping other people by giving out information, by giving out tips. I respond to every single person that ever made a comment, unless you're a rude person that's not worthy of having a comment on my channel. Am I passionate? Yes. Am I over-emotional? I sure am. Can I go overboard? Probably many times more than I'd like to admit. But that doesn't change the fact that I have a passion for more than just myself. I want you to succeed. I want us all to succeed, even the ones who hate me. How many of my haters will ever make a video saying that? None. It's not about right or wrong. It's about seeing the bigger picture. If CGC is left unchallenged, we, the consumer, will pay the price. And then there will never be another chance to get another competition. Because, yes, there may be, and Reggie said he has information that another company might be coming into play. Unless they are as funded as CGC, CGC will get rid of them too. So, base things on what I do, not by how I say it. Because I'll be the first to admit I don't say everything like, for example, Barack Obama. I'm not a great speaker. But you know what? Whether you liked him or not, just base it on his track record. Look at the economy and what happened. The devil will come at you with the greatest of expectations, leading you down that golden path, promising you the world with a smile on their face. Watch a mafia movie. The one that stabs you in the back tends to be your best friend. Be very careful. And make sure if you're going to give a business your money, make sure they've earned it. Not many companies do that anymore. And you wonder why we're not getting the quality that we deserve. Make a company earn your money. Thanks for listening. I appreciate anyone that took the time to listen to this. If you saw this entire video, I want you to type the word 99, which is how many people are watching right now. So we had between 99 and almost 150 people watching this video. Some for the wrong reasons, many for the right. And I thank you for whatever reason. And I'm sure I'll get backlash from this, and that's perfectly fine. I'm an easy target, but one that never falls down. So thank you to everybody. And look at this, how many people are typing in 99 right now. I love you guys. I support you guys. And I will be here for you no matter how much people lie about me, no matter how many people bash me, no matter how many people gang up on me, no matter how many people make fun of me. I will be here for you guys because you are what matters. Not my views, not my profitability, not my selfish reasons to get cheap comics, so you cannot. If I cannot share my information with you freely, it is not worth doing. And I don't need 5,000 views to help one person. So to all of you that are here for the right reasons, that typed in that 99, who are saying the nice things, who are here to support me each and every time, you're the reason why I'm here. You're the reason why I'll continue to be here. Because make no mistake, they broke me down once. And I shut down my channel. I let it get to me. But like they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that will never happen again. I'm here for you guys. Learn your information. Research, question people, even those you like, because you never know, they may have just made a mistake. And you know what? To err is human. And people seem to forget that whether you're a leftist or a rightist, whether you're black or white, whether you're male or female, whether you're atheist or Jewish, you are still human. And we seem to forget that these days, and maybe we need that back. So thanks for listening to my rant. Thank you for listening to my opinion. Thanks for listening to my information. And thank you for being a subscriber. And Tracy Best says, Comic Tom isn't much ahead of you of subscribers. He can have 20,000 subscribers, and I wish him luck. But he did it for the wrong reasons. Whether he admits it or not, whether he disputes it or not, I know the truth. And that's all that matters. So thanks for listening to everybody. I really appreciate the support. If you're kind enough to give it a thumbs up and show my haters that you will never be outswayed by the negativity, I would appreciate the positive support. Thanks for listening. Have a great night. Happy collecting. And again, make companies earn your money. Don't just throw it away, because trust me, they'll take it. Peace out.